Hey, what's happening? Chris Martinez here, host of Operation Agency Freedom. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about why you need to treat your hiring like a marketing funnel. And this should get you guys really excited because I know that there's a lot of marketing savvy people listening to my podcast. So we do a lot of hiring. I was not the best person at hiring when I got started 10 years ago. In fact, I sucked at it, probably way worse than anybody you've ever met. But over the years, we figured it out. We've brought in some very, very talented people to help us build out our hiring process. And now we have an amazing hiring process. We have around 100 team members that work with us. And I love all the team members that work with us. They're all fantastic human beings, first and foremost, but they're also very talented when it comes to design, development, and of course, being very responsible and accountable for their work. So what I want to talk about today is the hiring funnel and basically what we've built out, how many steps we have. So if you're doing hiring right now, which most agencies are, and you're struggling with it, or you kind of feel like there's some things that are missing, or like if you approach hiring and you feel like, it's kind of just like blindly throwing darts at a dartboard. Sometimes I get a good person, sometimes I don't. And if you just want to learn how to hire better, then definitely pay attention to this episode because I'm going to tell you all about our secrets that we've created literally from scratch over the past 5 years. And then, of course, at the end of this episode, make sure that you go to the website so that you can find the show notes and any links that I mention or tools that we use, which I am going to mention some. So go to the website, you can check out the show notes. And then, of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my podcast. Not only will it make you a great person, but you'll also be the first to know when we drop a new episode. So with that being said, let's head over to the content. All right, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about something that has become something that I'm very, very passionate about and that I enjoy. It wasn't always this way, as I kind of mentioned in the intro. I used to approach hiring as kind of like a necessary evil. And as you're listening to this, I'm sure that there's a few people that are like nodding their heads and they're like, man, I hate hiring people. Hiring people is unbelievably difficult. And why is that? Because people are unbelievably difficult. Everybody is unique. Everybody has their own backstory. Everybody has their own unique experiences and all those things. Everybody carries those things with them into the job. And so it's our job as agency owners to be able to identify the team members that we need that are going to help us to grow the agency. And not only that, you do want to bring on people that actually make your life easier. So you want to avoid cancerous people. And there are cancerous people out there. I don't know if anybody is like super hippy dippy and they think that everybody's like an amazing, super fantastic, special little snowflake that always smells like flowers. That is not the case, in my opinion. There are people that are good people. There are people that are bad people, but there's also people that are going to be a good fit for your agency. And there are people that are going to be a bad fit for your agency. And some of that doesn't have to do anything at all with like their personality. Like outside of work, they might be great. We could be friends. We could go have drinks together and have a good time. But when it comes down to work, your work culture is a bit different. So you want to find people that align with your work culture. So one of the things that we've done here at Dude is we have created essentially a hiring funnel. And I'm sure that term isn't unique to us. I'm sure there's lots of people say that they have a hiring funnel. But the reason why I think it's really important to talk about with agency owners like yourself is because we are very accustomed to a marketing funnel, right? Top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. So this concept of a hiring funnel is not foreign to you. And so when you think about a hiring funnel the same way that you think about a marketing funnel, it's actually going to help you to find really, really good candidates. So hopefully, like if you're running your agency and you have a marketing funnel to generate leads for yourself or your clients as well, we're not necessarily taking everybody with a credit card and a pulse. Part of that filtering process is that we're identifying who are the ideal clients that we want, and we're checking to make sure that the prospects who come through have the qualities that we know will help us to be successful with them. It's the same with your hiring funnel. So like in the top of the funnel, we've got everybody applying essentially, and then we're screening them and filtering out as we go down layer by layer. With that being said, let's just talk about the seven layers of our marketing funnel. So the very first step step is essentially the job post. The job post is designed to ultimately filter out 80% of the knuckleheads that are going to be applying to your job. Most people don't take the time to read the entire job post. Most people will not follow the directions, or they're just mentally incapable of following directions. And so, those are the people that are going to be easy to weed out. So just take into consideration that you're going to have like 80% of the people that are not going to be able to follow the instructions that you put in the job post specifically. I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but ultimately you should have tests in the job post itself saying like, hey, attach your resume as a PDF and a cover letter as a Google Doc. Put this in the subject if you're going to email us. You would be surprised, or maybe not surprised, at how many people will fail that initial step. So that's the top of the funnel. The next level that we use is we send out a email questionnaire. So it's the same questions that get asked to every single candidate based on that position. And the candidate has to reply with answers. And of course, we're reading the answers. We're looking at how they're communicating. If they give really brief, like one-word answers, or they don't use complete sentences or correct punctuation, probably not somebody that you would want to move to the next round. The other thing that we look at is if we're asking for examples of their work, let's see their portfolio and let's see the quality of that work. They're going to send you the things that they think are amazing. If they think it's amazing and we think it's crap, it's probably not going to be a good fit. The next thing that we look at is the time it takes for them to respond. So I believe that if anybody responds later than 48 hours to that questionnaire, we'll typically discard that candidate. Why? Because we want people who are actively looking for a job. If they're actively looking for a job, they're going to reply very quickly. If they're just like, maybe I'll take this job, maybe I won't, maybe they'll respond in like a week, or basically whenever they feel like they have time. So either way, if they take a long time, that's a sign of bad judgment on their side. And so it's not somebody that we want to move forward. So the next phase, this is going to be step 3, is if we like all the information that they sent over in the questionnaire, we'll schedule a quick phone interview. The phone interview, we usually do it on Zoom, but we'll keep our cameras off. The reason that we do that is we don't want to bring any of our biases into that phone interview, and vice versa. So we'll just ask them some questions. We're basically seeing how they communicate, making sure that they're not a super freaky weirdo, and just making sure that we get a good vibe for them. And of course, we're listening to the way that they answer the questions that we ask. But some things that have come up that have been red flags in the past is that, they forget that they've scheduled the interview. So they're not prepared. They're in an Uber or something and it's super loud. Like, you need to have the wherewithal, or just a common sense. If you're going to do a phone interview, be in a quiet location. It's not that difficult. Just use your common sense. And obviously, put it on the calendar so you don't forget. Because if you think about it, the best that somebody's ever going to perform in their job is going to be in the job interview. So if they forget, put it on their calendar. Just imagine how much worse it would be if you actually hired them. We'll put them through the phone interview, which is usually just 15 minutes. And then after that, we'll give them 2 technical exams. So you can consider that step 4 or 5, or 4, however you want to call it. The first one is we use a tool called testdome.com. It's a standardized test. Essentially, it's timed. I think it costs around $25 to send out the test. So everybody who's interviewing for a specific position, they get the test. It's timed. We can review their answers. And if they pass, then we'll have them actually do a project similar to what they would do if we were to hire that individual. So let's say it's a developer, a WordPress developer. We're going to have them build out a website on WordPress. We'll typically give them a little bit longer to do it than if they were an actual team member. So let's say it takes our team member a day. We'll give that candidate a day and a half, 2 days to be able to complete that project. But if they miss that deadline by even 1 second, we discard that candidate. We're very, very big on deadlines. Hopefully you're big on hitting deadlines too. If you're not, maybe you have a different metric that you care about. But for us, hitting deadlines is unbelievably important. So if a candidate misses that deadline, we will discard that candidate. After that, we do a psychometric exam. This is very, very important. It takes between 2 and 3 hours to complete this test. It's a personality test, a values test, a common sense test, and it gives you any red flags that might pop up for this particular individual based on this position. A lot of you guys are using a DISC profile or the Myers-Briggs. techniques. This is like all of those combined on steroids. It's insanely helpful. And it also takes a long time. So you might be wondering, like, how in the world am I going to get a team member to do a test like this without having to like pay them or something like that? Well, that's also by design. You are totally entitled to pay people to go through your interview process. For us, at least right now, that's not something that we're doing because we want somebody who is looking at the job interview as an investment in their future, right? We don't need to pay somebody to look at a great job opportunity, right? Like, I don't know if Google is paying people to go through their interview process, but I'm guessing they're not, right? They probably just like, hey, we're Google. Like, if you get on the other side of this, your life is going to be amazing. And that's kind of the same way that we structure our hiring funnel as well. Is that like, you are investing in your future, right? We're not going to compensate you for the opportunity to give yourself a better life. So all the technical tests, all the psychometric exam, we do not compensate people at all for going through our hiring funnel. I will give you a tip for the psychometric exam. You can go to Criteria Corp and they have some really, really good psychometric exams. I believe they're anywhere from $300 to $400. So they're not necessarily cheap, but they are 100% worth it. I see a lot of people that try and get cheap and they'll find some random like psychometric exam online that's like $20. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're not getting a true evaluation of a team member. So I know that these tests work. You know, we've done this hundreds of times. So don't try and like hack this process. Give them a legit test, invest the money. What's $300 if you hire a team member that you're going to end up paying, you know, $70, $80, $100,000 a year? Like, how much more money are you going to lose if you don't get the right candidate? So in my opinion, stop trying to go cheap. Just spend the money, invest the money so that you can evaluate these team members. You will save yourself so much heartache and aggravation by doing it this way. So Criteria Corp, go check that one out. That's the best one that we've found. Okay, so if they pass the psychometric exam, then we'll do a group interview. The group interview usually consists of 4 people. Every person is asking different questions and standard, all the questions are like written down. So it's kind of like the same questions every single time. After the 4 people do the interview, which takes about 2 hours total, 30 minutes per person, they'll get together immediately and they will ask themselves like, what did you think? Any red flags? And then we have our 2, magical questions that we ask. Is this somebody I would want on my team? And is this somebody that I would feel comfortable working for one day if they were to become my manager? Everybody has to say yes to both of those questions. If anybody has any doubts or they say no, we will discard that candidate. So that's our hiring funnel. It's very, very thorough. You might be looking at this and being like, man, I don't want to do that. Well, hey, I hate to break it to you. That's why we have amazing people. And that's why we place amazing people with these agencies. So you can't get the easy button and just get all your people for you. But if you're hiring people on your own, I highly recommend that you follow these same steps. You will not be disappointed with the candidates that make it through. You will have the best people you've ever had in your life. Now, the thing that I see that agencies are doing that's driving me crazy is they're taking too long. So this entire process from first touch, from the day that they reply to your job post to the day that you make the offer, should not take longer than 2 weeks. A lot of agencies, and I understand everybody's tapped out in terms of resources. It's hard to get everybody together. It's hard to conduct these interviews, but this is really, really important. Bringing on team members is really important. So treat it as such. So from our standpoint, this entire process, all 7, 8 steps takes 2 weeks. So we can find somebody, talk to them for the very first, or literally get their resume, start the entire process and make an offer in 2 weeks. The reason why you want to be able to do it very quickly is because that candidate, if they're really good, they're getting recruited by 50 other agencies or 50 other companies, some of which are Fortune 500 companies that can pay more than you. So you need to get them through. You need to be committed to getting these people through and to being able to make the offer to the perfect people very fast. After you guys have that last interview, the group interview, and everybody agrees that this is somebody that we want, make the offer immediately, like same day at the latest the next day. If you're waiting 48 hours, put yourself in the perspective of that person. You're like, man, I think I did a really good job. I really like those people, but I haven't heard from them in 2 days. And I've got like 3 other people that are making me offers. I don't know what I do. They're going to take the sure thing. They're going to take the offer that's already in front of them. Even if it's less money, even if they don't like the company as much, they're just going to take the offer that's presented to them. So you need to be able to make that offer very, very fast. Like the same day that you conduct that live group interview, you should be making the offer. And if you do this, I promise you, again, you will get the best people possible, and they'll be super excited to work with you because they're going to respect the fact that you saw something amazing in them and that you acted fast on that. You didn't play a game. So that's our hiring funnel, essentially 7, maybe 8 steps. I can't count, but follow that. Listen to this episode again, write down the notes, Testome, Criteria Corp. And if you have any questions, let us know. And of course, if you just want the easy button, come to Dude. This is one of the things that we do, and we'll help you get the most amazing people on earth. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you could share it with your friends, family, and basically anyone who will find the same value in this episode that you did. And to get the latest from me, then let's definitely connect on social media. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Dude Agency, or Instagram @dudeagency.io, or you can check us out on YouTube on our YouTube channel. And then, of course, you can always visit our website at dudeagency.io, where you can see all of our other episodes of Operation Agency Freedom. You can also register for any live trainings that we have going on how to run a highly profitable agency. And of course, you can see how we help digital agencies with the people, the processes, and the education so that they can take on more projects and scale profitably. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.